Hello everyone. Today's video is about an inspiring English learning story that helps you improve your language step by step. The story follows Arman, a young man who struggled with English but found a way to learn through small, simple habits. He used videos, short sentences, pictures, and practice in daily life. The journey shows his fears, mistakes, and small victories until he gains confidence to speak, travel, and even teach others. The video is not just a story. It's designed to help you understand English in a clear and simple way, while keeping your attention with real emotions, real struggles, and motivational lessons. Arman found the video on a slow evening. He pressed play on his old phone and watched a woman tell a short story in simple English. She spoke slowly. She used pictures. She paused. At the end, she asked one small question and smiled. The voice felt patient. It felt kind. Arman watched again. He felt a small wish wake inside him. He was 20 and new to the city. The college used English in lectures and on slides. It felt like a wall between him and the rooms he wanted to enter. He had tried to learn before, but words slipped away like water. The video did not promise fast success. It showed a way to learn that seemed quiet and steady. Arman decided to try that way. He signed up for an evening class at the community center. The teacher, Miss Noor, used short stories and images. She asked students to tell small true stories in English. The first night, Arman froze when asked to speak. Words vanished. He left the class with a heavy feeling. Still, the memory of the woman's smile on his phone pushed him to try again. Arman began to make a short video each day. The first clips were simple. He spoke about a red scarf and a market fruit. He used short sentences and paused after each line. He asked a small question at the end and waited for his own voice to answer. Watching himself felt strange. He did not like every take, but he learned to try again. Repetition made a difference. Saying the same lines more than once helped the words stay in his mind. Two friends from class watched his clips. They sent quick notes and small corrections. Their kindness made Arman keep going. Layla, one friend, taught him to tie a picture to new words. She drew a small sun for bright and a tiny lock for secure. When Arman saw the picture, the word came back faster. These small tricks built a quiet map inside his head. Soon, he used English at work. He freelanced for a small design studio. Emails came in. He reread them multiple times before sending. He wrote short sentences. He kept one idea per line. It was slow at first. Then he found small wins. He used the phrase, "Excuse me, may I ask a question?" in class, and the teacher answered kindly. He used a short line in an email, and the client replied with warmth. These small moments pushed him forward. Fear still arrived. Once a man on a bus mocked his accent. Arman felt shame and sat quietly that evening. He listened to his own recorded voice again and remembered the woman's smile. He learned to make space for the falls. He accepted that mistakes were part of the path. Each mistake taught him something new. He learned to pause, breathe, and choose one clear sentence to fix first. Arman discovered another trick. Movement helped memory. When he learned a new verb, he acted it. He lifted his hand, closed his eyes, and said the word. The body and the word lived together. Later, he would say the same word while making tea or walking to class. The different moments made the words stronger. Repetition across time and place held the learning steady. A turning point arrived when the community center announced a short film festival. Students could show 3-minute films in English. Arman wrote a script about an old shoemaker at the end of a lane. The shoemaker's hands moved slow and sure. Light fell on his bench like a small blessing. Arman filmed the leather, the hammer, and the soft smile when the job was done. He added a voiceover with short, clear lines. He paused where images needed room to breathe. On the festival night, his film played among many clips. The audience watched the shoemaker's hands and the quiet care he took with each shoe. Arman felt the room listen. Applause surprised him. The judge said his film had heart. A woman said she felt the story clearly. That praise warmed him more than the small prize. It felt like proof that his simple voice could cross a room. After the festival, he accepted more work at the studio. The tasks required him to speak and write in English often. He made a tiny routine. Each morning, he read one short piece and summarized it in a sentence. Each evening, he recorded a 1-minute clip about his day. The routine kept his English present without burning him out. He traded the desire to be perfect for the habit of steady practice. Arman's confidence grew in small steps. He began to use English in conversations with people he did not know. He would ask a shopkeeper a simple question. He would say, "Can I have?" and practice the phrase until it sounded calm. If he stumbled, he smiled and tried again. He learned that most people noticed honesty more than grammar. His openness made others patient and kind. There were nights he still felt stuck. He would watch his old videos and compare them with new ones. He could see the change. He could hear his voice loosen. He wrote down small gains, one extra sentence without stopping, one question answered without panicking. These notes felt like stones he could carry on the path. A bigger chance arrived when the studio asked him to travel for a client meeting abroad. The trip needed a visa and a short interview in English. Arman prepared using the same methods he had used before. He wrote short answers and spoke them out loud. He recorded mock interviews with friends. He used pictures to hold tricky words. When the day came, he answered the officer with clear sentences and honest stories of his work. The visa was granted. On the plane, he watched the clouds and thought of his first steps outside the community center. He thought of the woman's smile and the shoemaker's hands. Language was no longer a wall to fear. It was a door he could open when he pushed gently. He traveled, met people with wide accents, and listened more than he spoke. He learned new rhythms and borrowed small phrases that made sense to him. Back home, he began to teach a small video class at the community center. He used the same gentle style that had helped him. Short stories, pictures, slow pauses, and a final question for the viewer. He asked students to make 1-minute films and to speak like they spoke to a friend. Some students found their voice quickly. Others took longer. Arman listened. He taught patience by example. One student, Zara, was shy at the start. She read with her eyes on the floor and rarely lifted her head. When she filmed a story about a candle guiding someone through a storm, the class felt the light she described. Her voice grew steadier after that. Her father later told Arman that he had watched his daughter and cried. That small scene moved Arman more than any reward. Arman learned to listen for meaning instead of error. He learned that people who try to speak a new language need warmth, not correction first. When a student stumbled, he did not jump to fix every word. He found the heart of the sentence and celebrated it. Then he offered one small tip. This way, students felt seen and kept trying. He also kept making films. He filmed a spice seller who counted small measures into paper cones. He filmed a child trading marbles for a toy. He filmed a morning when light made the roof glow gold. Each film was small and true. He used the same pause and simple lines. He always asked the viewer to say one small sentence out loud. The films gathered a shy, steady audience. Arman remembered the old rule: use pictures and motion to help memory. In class, he often asked students to draw one image for each new word. They drew small suns and birds and keys. They acted verbs with their hands. They repeated words in different rooms of the day. These moves turned words into gentle habits. Not all steps were smooth. Arman battled doubt sometimes. He saw people who spoke faster or who used longer words. He felt small and compared himself. Then he would pick up his phone and speak a short story about something ordinary: the taste of cinnamon on his tongue, the sound of rain on metal, the quiet laugh of a friend. He posted it and waited. Often, someone wrote back with a small kindness. Those notes taught him to keep walking. Years later, when he returned to the lane where the shoemaker lived, Arman found the same bench and the same slow hands. The shoemaker smiled and said, "Your voice fits this lane now." Arman felt the sentence like a warm garment. He kept teaching at the community center. Word spread slowly. New students came because a friend had shared his simple films. They came because the course did not promise perfection. It promised small, true steps. A small plaque by the door held a line: "Small stories open doors." The plaque did not mean he had finished. It only meant others saw that simple stories could change a life. Arman often thought of the first video that had started everything. He kept the old phone and would play that short clip in class sometimes. He did not want to copy the woman's voice exactly. He wanted to feel its kindness and then make his own voice warm. He taught students to be brave with small sentences and to use pauses like friendly breaths. In the end, the lesson he offered was quiet. He taught that learning a language is a practice of patience and care. It asks you to make a small habit and to keep it. It asks you to speak true small sentences and to wait. It asks you to listen for the heart of a message and to answer with feeling. He taught that repetition in new places, motion with words, and a few images could make meaning last. Arman did not promise that English would fix all problems. He did not promise that every door would open. He only promised that small stories and simple sentences would make the wall softer. Each person could step through the small door and find a new room to walk in. That thought was enough to keep him speaking, filming, and teaching. One winter evening, a big chance came that tested what Arman had learned. The studio offered him a role in a joint project. He would meet people from another city. The work would last a month and ask him to speak more than he had before. The idea made him anxious, but he kept it quiet and prepared. Arman chose a small practice. He wrote a short story about a train journey. He made one line for each thought. He said the lines while walking and while washing dishes. He recorded them and listened on the bus. The story was plain. A man who left a letter on a station bench and then chased it through the city. The more Arman spoke, the softer his voice became. He learned to shape a sentence without racing. When the project began, the pace shocked him. Meetings moved fast, and people spoke in many styles. In the first session, his throat tightened. He remembered the old phone and the woman's smile. He told the train story during a warm-up round. A director asked him to change the tone and to try again. Arman tried a softer voice, then a firmer one. The director smiled and said, "Yes, that works." The small win eased him. Mistakes came. In one scene, he missed his line and felt ashamed. Later, he watched the footage and found small gains. The error had not erased the truth in his words. He learned to look inside mistakes for what helped him move on. Small discoveries like that kept him calm. The month passed. Crew members said his clear voice made scenes honest. One comment, "Simple lines can carry a big feeling," warmed him. Back at the center, students changed in small ways. Imran had a fast, loud voice and a heavy accent. He wanted to be taken more seriously. Arman worked with him for many evenings. They recorded the same phrase in a classroom, on a bridge, and in a quiet cafe. The different places shaped Imran's voice. He learned to slow when it mattered, and to keep the rhythm when it helped the meaning. His accent softened not because he erased it, but because he learned to let his words breathe. Noor came from a far village. She knew many words, but could not hold them together. Her sentences fell like beads on the floor. Arman asked her to tell one memory about a mother making tea. She began with one simple line, then the next, and then another. The class listened as her voice found the shape of the memory. By the end of a month, she could tell the whole scene without stopping. Her eyes shone with surprise. "I did not know I had this," she said quietly. Arman kept a small notebook. After every class or filming, he wrote one line about what he had learned. He wrote, "Found a softer pause," or "Let the last word wait." These notes were small lanterns he could read on heavy nights. When doubt came, he opened the book and felt the small lights he had collected. Family became part of his journey too. His mother found an old English book and began to read aloud. She sent him a voice note with a paragraph she had tried. Her voice trembled with effort. He sent a short video back of him reading the same page. They laughed and practiced together. English grew into a new way to share a life. The distance between them moved smaller with each line they read. The city taught him lessons. Heat made people slow. He trimmed words to their simplest form. Winter nights with early lamps taught him to slow down and let images sit. He filmed the shoemaker by a single lamp. Light made the leather shine like a face. These small pictures taught him how to let English carry a scene. A university asked Arman to make a short film about young people. He and a small team asked 4 people to say one true fear and one true hope. The pattern was small but strong. At the screening, the simple lines stayed with the audience. Students talked afterwards. They shared their own small lines. The film had become a mirror. Years passed and small successes arrived. One former student used his short film to win a place at a radio station. He read stories on air and found that the 1-minute practice had taught him to hold a sentence. He sent Arman an audio clip. The sound was clear and warm. Arman felt pride. New teachers brought breathing exercises and short games. The mix made the practice richer, and Arman learned from them. When he felt lost, he returned to the original video on the old phone. He watched the woman smile and heard her small question. He kept that idea alive. A short lesson should end with a question that makes a voice come out. He used that idea in his films and classes. His life stayed made of small meetings. A student would speak a true line and the room would answer. A viewer would watch a film and send a note that said, "That line helped me." These small meetings made a steady world. He was not perfect, but patient and trusting small steps. On a soft evening, he sat by the shoemaker's bench and filmed the hands. He sent the clip to his class with a short note. "Tell one small true line today." Students sent recordings, short lines and bright pictures. Each one built the bridge for its speaker. Arman kept walking the slow path with the old phone on the table at the center. He asked students to speak short, honest stories. The city had walls, but he had found a door that opened for those who knocked with a short, honest sentence.